Jay was saying about it earlier. I'll give it a second. It says we're live. We got to let it kick on to Rumble. YouTube's weird with these, but I'm not going to sit here and throw away all of our Rumble, fans and, the place that actually took us in.
Right.
For YouTube, even if we're getting more views over there or anything. That part does not matter to me. I love people, look, we're filling up right now. Got a few. It's always going to be bigger, I think, on the live streams for Rumble. But yeah, it's the just want to start it off. We usually just write live stream. That doesn't attract anyone, and then I break up the videos and turn them into other videos, and then I get random YouTubers on there cussing me out, saying you guys aren't prepared for this, whatever. And I'm like, yeah, except I don't have to explain anything to you. Go figure out the information yourself. Also, this is like a 5-minute clip out of a 2-hour long, freestyle live stream.
Shooting from the hip.
Yeah, so this one I actually titled, because this isn't, we're starting a little later, so it won't be too long, but the Jane Doe versus Trump Epstein 2016 case. And I didn't know a lot about this. I don't think that a lot of people do. And I think the reason is because around that time they were going hard with propaganda from the left and the right, and they really wanted to shut Trump down, right? But I saw someone post on the internet today, someone that I actually used to go to school with, not friends with him, but it was blowing it up and saying Trump raped this girl, and and honestly, I think you're on the same side as this. If it doesn't matter who it is, if they did something like that, they should be held accountable.
Yep. Investigate and held accountable.
Yeah, and the problem is there's limited evidence for these things, and this video is going to piss, I think, a lot of people off, because I'm not going to go one way or the other on this. I'm not here to convince anyone one way or the other. I'm going to tell you that there is limited evidence, and on that side, the left are going to go, well, they threatened or paid him off. And then the other side is going to go, Hillary Clinton herself probably did this, honestly. And it's they keep referring it as the Doe versus Trump, even though it was Doe versus Trump and Jeffrey Epstein. Now, this is 2016. Epstein was first arrested and convicted and did a small amount of time, right? As we got that one guy circulating on videos now saying if he would have admitted he was a Mossad agent, he wouldn't have served any time. But back in 2008 for, his little kid stuff. But so this is he's already convicted. I got a theory about this. 2016 says Doe v. Trump filed in September of 2016 in the Southern District of New York was a lawsuit in which an anonymous plaintiff, Jane Doe, accused Donald Trump and Jeffrey Epstein of sexual assault and rape in 1994. Right? What's the first question that comes to your mind just hearing that?
How old was she?
Right. How old was she? I'd say, yeah, somewhat old. Older than us, I'm sure. But why? My first question goes, why would she be bringing this up at this time?
Oh, yeah. Perfect timing, right? Right when he's about to be.
Yeah. This is 2 months before the election, before, voting. And all of a sudden it pops up. That's a long time of staying quiet, and, so that's where it would lead me to believe that whether it's a farce or not, the only reason that they were doing it was to stop him from becoming president.
Look at how many other instances of that happening popped up during that time, and as soon as he was inaugurated. It was like Stormy Daniels and the Russian hookers and Grab Her by the Pussy. And, it was, everybody had a case on him.
And that's what people do. And if any of these politicians were real and not puppets and actually, were fighting for the good of man, they wouldn't really care about the whole, the news media about it. They'd actually find evidence of these things and put him behind bars.
Right.
Instead of just, make him look bad so you don't vote for him, right? That's the the thing that gets me. But we're not talking about good people here. No. And it's starting to look day by day that all of them are owned, which I already agree with, but that they flip sides, right? They really flip sides on everything. Trump isn't a wartime president. Let's go to war, right? When the Epstein files are, getting released and questions are being asked, and the DOJ is making mistakes with what they're putting out there, you know? I mean, Joe Biden's presidency made a lot of mistakes, but now you can copy and paste redacted words into a search bar and it shows you everything that was redacted. Come on.
Well, it makes me wonder if we start actually holding people accountable. Look at the distractions that come up right now with just the information and the allegations being out there. But imagine when people are being tried for, sexual misconduct or whatever the hell they're going down for. What kind of distractions they're going to pull then? World War III is really going to kick off. Maybe a nuke, maybe alien invasion.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
Yeah, all
how
the cards will
radical.
come into play.
Mm-hmm.
Everything. Yeah, and it's crazy that, I mean, it's a terrible charge and people should be put away forever. But Anthony Weiner is walking around. He was released. I mean, technically all they got him on, I think, was like sending DPs to a 16-year-old, but that should be enough to put you in prison.
Mm-hmm.
But by the gross, disgusting, charts today, that's which one of these guys is not doing stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
But let's see. So the exhibit, Jane Doe, declaration, document 1, attachment 3. I mean, it's really interesting. It says, I, Jane Doe, the plaintiff in this matter, proceeding under the pseudonym, states as follows. She's a competent adult over 18 years of age, able to testify as to personal knowledge. The facts in this declaration are true and correct to the best of her knowledge, information, and belief, and is competent to testify to them if called to do so. She goes, I was the subject to extreme sexual and physical abuse by the defendants, including forcible rape that took place at several parties of defendant Epstein during the summer of 1994 in New York City at a residence used by defendant Epstein. During this period, I was 13 years old. So, it's pretty crazy. And yeah, the 1994, and I get it, trauma and stuff like that, and maybe it's, well, she saw a horrible, horrible man going to get into a position of power. And so that's why she did it. I could see that, but why wait until the election? Why not cut it off in the beginning?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it gets interesting. It
And
says
if
I
it
traveled.
was, oh, go ahead.
No, you go ahead. Sorry.
I was just going to say, and it was apparently handled, right? Up to this point, she just suddenly wants to come out and readdress the issue. Did they go to
Right.
court over this, is what it's saying? Did they
Well,
settle outside of court, or how'd this go?
so that's actually the interesting part about this, is it kind of cuts off. So just fast forward through this. She puts it in, right, 2 months before the election, and then 4 days before the election, November 4th, withdraws. Personally has it thrown out. And I get the whole, she wants to stay anonymous. And I mean, if they're doing it to hundreds of girls, it would be hard to narrow down which one, but they are very powerful people. They could find out who she is. And it's almost more dangerous for her not to say her name and to get that out there, right? With the media. And the media was eating this up. I mean, it was all over the place. I tried to pull examples of that. But if you notice, when you're looking for this older stuff, it's been scrubbed.
Yeah, there's some situations where you want to remain anonymous, and there's other situations where it's more dangerous and you almost want that as much attention on you as possible.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, for protection.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of it. Yeah, especially at this time with what the left was pushing at this time, I think that she would have been pretty protected.
Well, and part of me thinks, like, if this is all true, the allegations are true, and they're going to try to take Trump down for something like sexually abusing a minor. With everything else that was circulating in the news at that time, the Anthony Weiner laptop, the Podesta files, the Hillary Clinton server, all surrounding Epstein, cannibalism, satanic child sacrifice, rape.
Right.
You think, like, he already knows what's going on at these parties. He's been in the circles. So it's like, you want to take me down? Then I'm bringing all you motherfuckers down with me, So maybe there was some help cleaning this up, if it was in fact true.
I mean, but this is a lawsuit as well. They're not even, this isn't a criminal investigation at this point. What this person put in is, I'm suing you for these damages.
Oh.
So I'm pretty sure that if she did have the evidence and this was real and wanted it taken care of, she would have been able, even after this, to give some form of evidence and have them investigated.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
which, I mean, someone would have put that together by now. It's just interesting. I really wanted to hit this topic because they're saying this is a fact. Yes, this is a fact. This was put in just with two, well, I think it's originally started in April in California and then moved to New York. So, like, messed it up, needed to do it in New York, and then that's when the New York won. But all in the year of 2016. So, elections coming up. Says defendant Trump had sexual contact with me at 4 different parties in the summer of 1994. On the fourth and final sexual encounter with defendant Trump, Trump tied me to a bed, exposed himself to me, and then proceeded to forcibly rape me. It goes into a little bit more details there. Violently striking me in the face with his open hand and screaming that he would do whatever he wanted. Immediately following, Trump threatened me that if she was ever revealed the details of what had happened, her and her family would be physically harmed if not killed. Then it goes, Epstein had sexual contact with me at 2 of the parties that summer. On the second occasion involving defendant Epstein, forced himself upon me and proceeded to rape me. And then he allegedly did the same thing. So both defendants had let me know that each was a very wealthy, powerful man and indicated that they had the power, ability, and means to carry out their threats. Yeah, sorry for the rough reading there. It's very small on my screen.
Perfect. Came through fine.
I had no reason to believe that defendants' threats have ever been lifted or will ever be lifted, and so I request that the court issue an order protecting me and my family from harm and harassment by the defendants. Now, I'm not going to judge anyone here, but if I thought my rapist when I was 13 years old was going to be president, I would have taken them down the second I knew. I mean, this kind of stuff needs to be. And they put it in there. It was like at least $75,000 they were looking for. So I think this, I mean, I'm going to talk for the right now, that this was just a bunch of BS propaganda to spit more on Trump's name to stop him from being president. And this doesn't prove anything criminal. So if they would have ended up pushing through this and they just settled and paid, they would have went, oh, look, he settled on these kind of, allegations. And it never happened.
It was like 22 years prior to the lawsuit, though, wasn't it? That it actually took place, 1994?
Yeah,
2016?
22 years, yeah.
I mean...
It's actually insane. But who knows? I mean, stuff happens. And it's crazy. So I want to say for this, that's why I kind of pointed it out earlier. Epstein had already been convicted and charged of doing these kinds of things, right? It was trafficking and like rape of children, and he only got a few years. And they let him out early. I mean, it's crazy. This guy should have been put to death. But I was kind of thinking that around this time, Trump and Epstein, if they weren't friends, right, and Epstein was going to use like him be the scapegoat, because it's not just Trump versus Jane Doe, it's Jane Doe versus Trump and Epstein, is that Epstein could have been involved in this and ended up saying, yeah, he was doing the same stuff as me. I've already been convicted, though, of these crimes, so you can't put me away, right? But if he was to testify against Trump with this, whoever this person is, something big could have happened, something very bad. So there was some interesting play here. Let's go November 4th, notice of voluntary dismissal. Hereby gave notice that the above captioned action is voluntarily dismissed against the defendants, all defendants. Document filed by Jane Doe. So there's a few things in here. It says filing error, deficient docket entry, filing error, deficient docket entry. And then they did summon Trump and Epstein. They actually did send them summons. Very interesting. So, as everyone knows, right, November 8th was when Trump won the election. 4 days after it was pulled back, Epstein was convicted in 2008 for procuring a child for prostitution and soliciting a prostitute. Received a sentence of 13 months in custody as part of the controversial plea deal. So that should piss people off just as much as all this. 13 months. He got a year and 1 month for children.
And why is this coming up now? Like, was this in the files? This was found in the files or what?
So, no, this is coming up because I'm starting to see it as a left-leaning argument against Trump. is what I'm seeing. And I
Mm-hmm.
saw it today and I realized I don't know anything about this, right?
Mm. Yeah, it's just interesting because I'm hearing more and more people starting to talk about this as well, and I'm like,
Right.
I mean, it's just convenient, and there's always some reason they're trying to pin this. I'm not trying to just defend Trump blindly, but we've been through this numerous times. Like I said at the beginning, Stormy Daniels, he did pay her off to shut her up, and maybe he slept with her. I mean, I don't know the whole ins and outs of that, but there's so many accusations against this guy or allegations against this guy, and just why now?
Right. Well, I'm not too sure. It's because they're trying to bury Trump in it, and I'm right on the line of like, if we can find evidence that he's guilty of this, yeah, absolutely. And it doesn't go well to his name about the whole Iran-Israel, relationship there and everything else he's doing right now. He just said the other day that we don't want children getting their genitals cut off without their parents saying it's okay. And that blows my mind. That's the whole 180 that he was at. No surgeries for minors. We shouldn't even be doing it to adults. That's a mental illness. But now we can sit here. He's on TV saying it. I'm like, that's insane.
Mm-hmm.
Everything ever since, right? Because I'm not too sure. I might not have even voted, if I knew what was going to happen right after he got in.
Well, there was another video that just went out with Trump talking about taking people's guns who are already being looked at as a potential threat, and they're
Mm-hmm.
courts to go in and preemptively take your guns from you. And I mean, it was just something a little snippet I saw, but I'm like, wait a minute, what? What are we talking about? What happened to the Second Amendment?
Right.
It's a
And
Minority Report.
they used to say, the left, that Trump was crazy and MAGA was crazy and they were extremists, they were Nazis, they were just crazy, gun wielding, whatever. And he's on TV going, if you're carrying a gun in public, you're a criminal. I'm like, excuse me. But now I'm starting to realize, like, I never say I'm Republican. I'd say I'm a conservative. And that's because there's no rhino conservatives, only Republicans. It's a joke I like to make. But the people that think they're conservatives now is just the left a couple years ago, just
Mm-hmm.
pushing the other way, right? These guys actually believe this guy can do no wrong. They believe that Israel is our number one best friend and we should give them all of our money. They believe there's no way that Trump had any involvement in this stuff. And I say, yeah, give me the evidence, and he is, but right now he's messing up real bad.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, with everything, all of his policies changing, and they're like, we told you so. And it's, no, you're all wrong. Because the regular Fox News watching, conservative Republican right now is just sitting there right on the line, almost just one step over from the left.
Mm-hmm.
And they don't realize it, because at this point it's, if you don't think Israel's first, you're a libtard. I'm like, no, you're the libtard.
Mm-hmm.
It's the same thing they were doing with Ukraine.
That's right.
But the reason I wanted to bring this up is because I remember we heard about all these and it was, oh, it's just the left attacking. It's all BS. None of this could have happened. And I mean, it looks more like it's not real to me. It looks more like if they had something, they would have sent it out, right? And it would have been a back and forth battle. And they got a lot of new people, right? There's always new lefties and righties coming up that could replace these people. I mean, why are the Clintons not in jail? They're
Mm-hmm.
obviously not going to go to jail unless the people, go out there and grab them.
Mm-hmm.
That's what it's going to take. So here was the Epstein investigation. Can you still hear me all right? I turned my mic down.
Yep, I can hear you fine.
All right. So, interest in the Jeffrey Epstein sex trafficking investigation has exploded over the past month, even as Donald Trump urged the public and media to move on from a saga he sees as pretty boring. Suspicious, right? I'd say that's pretty suspicious to come from the guy that may have been involved with this. So, conspiracy theories. March 2005, police in Palm Beach, Florida began investigating Epstein after the family of a 14-year-old girl reports she was molested in his mansion. Multiple underage girls, many of them high school students, would later tell police Epstein hired them to give sexual massages. And I didn't finish that interview with the girl on Soft White Underbelly yesterday when they had just dropped it, but she's an Epstein survivor and she goes into describing all of this, right? If you watched any of it.
Not that one, no.
No. So pretty much she was hanging out with some older girls who were in high school. She was in 8th grade, and they were like, you want $200? Just go give this old guy a massage for like 30 minutes, $200. And she was like having to steal food money because her mom was a drug addict. And
Mm.
so she went there, and then he ended up like rolling over during the massage and molested her, is what happened.
Is this, do you remember the girl's name?
No.
Was she like Brazilian or something like that?
No, she's a white girl. She grew up around the area.
That's interesting because, yeah, it seems like a repeating story. There was one
Mm-hmm.
victim
That's how
that,
they do it.
yep, yep. But apparently he liked the white girls, the white blonde girls. And yeah, that was the same story, same tactic every time. Start with the
Mm-hmm.
massage, roll over. You got to start with your shirt off. Just wear your bra. It's just like a bathing
Yep.
suit.
That's the
Wing.
exact same story.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's because they'd have other girls go and get them.
Uh-huh.
It's absolutely disgusting. So 2006, he's arrested after a grand jury indicts him on a single count of soliciting prostitution. So pretty crazy. That's all he got. It says federal prosecutors in 2007 prepare an indictment against Epstein, but for a year, the money manager's lawyers engage in talks with the U.S. attorney in Miami about a plea bargain that would allow Epstein to avoid a federal prosecution. Epstein's lawyers decry his accusers as unreliable witnesses. Could you imagine looking at teenagers, you know what I mean, that your defendant had raped and going, they're not a good witness.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Well, it's just about as bad as when all the survivors were in that congressional hearing with Pam Bondi, and she wouldn't even turn around and look at them,
right.
and she'd never spoken to
Oh,
them.
she
And
was in that one. Yeah,
yeah, she was there, and she wouldn't turn around, look at them, address them. She never even met with them, took the time to meet with them, and I don't know what the tactic is with Pam Bondi. Apparently, there's some kind of like behind the curtain thing happening, but it seems like she is dropping the ball left and right with this.
it can't be an accident. The left screams that she's incompetent and stupid, but it doesn't matter if you're incompetent and stupid. All you got to do is read the teleprompter.
Hmm.
What we're seeing is it's got to be some form of like 5D chess, or they're all just working together. Because I
Yeah.
see the elites at this point want to start a world war, or they want to start a civil war.
Yeah, that's
And I
the only
see
way
two
they're going to
sides
get
of it.
out.
Yeah, the right wants a world war, and the left wants a civil war.
Hmm.
It's weird.
And
Yeah.
both of them had the opportunity to go, balls to the wall with these files, and they're all dropping the ball.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
It's a big club, and we're not in it. That's what it is. But yeah, 2008, pleads guilty, goes to jail. 2009, he's released. Absolutely disgusting. So, haven't done this a whole lot. Getting on Snopes here. Lawsuit charges Donald Trump with raping a 13-year-old girl. Let's see. First major scandal to hit the Trump campaign, besides the typical "what a racist, such a sexist, yada yada yada," came from a lawsuit stemming from the infamous sex parties held by billionaire and known pedophile Jeffrey Epstein. The woman named in the suit is Katie Johnson, who says Trump took her virginity. So it says her name. In 1994, when she was only 13 and being held by Epstein as a slave. Johnson says in the complaint that Trump and Epstein threatened her and her family with bodily harm if she didn't comply with all their disgusting demands. The Trump campaign has been on this immediately, calling it absolute nonsense and not even remotely true or possible. So that was part of it. I was thinking is maybe they contacted her attorneys and went, we can prove that it couldn't have happened. Right? Because that was way before that, right? Trump and Epstein were no longer friends, which doesn't mean anything. You don't have to be buddies with your drug dealer.
Well, what's shocking to me is this happened 20 before, I don't even know how many years at this point, 30 something years ago.
Yeah.
And we are still like, who could prove one way or another whether it happened or it didn't? Where is the evidence at this point? There's
Right.
not going to be any DNA. So what is it?
Well, Trump being, one of the world's only billionaires at the time and being, a celebrity and in movies and all that stuff, right? He had a TV show. Probably a lot of records of where he is, what he's doing. Even your bank statements, kind of.
Sure, I guess so. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it could,
Making
but
payments.
They never got to that point, and that's the concerning part. Is it didn't go to that point. It'd be nice to know, yay or nay. But the angle I wanted to go at with this, let's just say that it didn't happen. This was a left-wing attack on him, and they were going to use Epstein as the scapegoat, right, to drag Trump down with him. Almost like they knew beforehand that if Trump got into power, all of these trafficking rings would be brought down, and he knew exactly who he was going for after that, which was Jeffrey Epstein, which happened in 2019, I believe, and then COVID happened. Very crazy. So pretty much the guy was already convicted pedophile, did his time, which was only 13 months. And he could go, oh, yeah, by the way, all that stuff I did, Trump was doing it with me.
You know what really gets me is the fact that we have spent years focusing with, I mean, everybody's attention on Epstein and the Epstein files, but he is one person in a sea of pedophile networks that run the world. Yep. He's not the one shipping, like freaking storage containers full of bodies and live people across the ocean. It goes so deep, but we are so tunnel visioned on this one person. It makes me continue to ask why. And if it's so, that he can't be the only one who's blackmailing people. I don't know what the significance is with him. Yes, there's obviously serious crimes, but why aren't we looking at the broader picture here, I guess?
Right. And that's, what I find interesting about it, because I was following it for the past few years while nobody else was. And I would just put in Epstein news or Ghislaine Maxwell news. And what I noticed, right, was it was a lot about the banking. And that's what's really got my attention and my hold on this, because everyone's on this topic right now, like he said, especially because the files, right? And it does feel like a distraction, but the banking is the most intriguing part. Right? I'm trying to think of who it was. It's not Wells Fargo.
It's JP Morgan.
There you go. JP Morgan. Like the guy who runs JP Morgan was giving him illegal secret loans for that island. This guy came from nothing to being worth so much. And you had, was it the governor or mayor of New York, just giving him buildings, giving him houses. This guy, it's like Elon Musk's upbringing. He's running an illegal nightclub at 20 years old, 21, something like that, because of his parents and how rich they are, and just blows up. Buys PayPal. And it's scam after scam after scam, and all of a sudden he's the richest man in the world. Epstein was high up like that from out of nowhere. That's what's interesting to me, is how you can go from pretty much nothing and then become so wealthy that you are texting congressional members on which way to vote while they're in session.
And, one average Joe becoming rich like that in such a quick amount of time, even in a single lifetime, let alone blackmailing basically every powerhouse of the entire world, that he is not working alone. Like the whole Mossad thing, that just leads me to believe it even more, because they would have just took him out. It doesn't matter what kind of unless there is some kind of big agency backing him up and backing up those hard drives. No kill switch is going to be enough to be able to blackmail all the power of the world. So this is Jeffrey's big. Something bigger is behind him, and the network. Why are we not focusing on that?
Right. He's like the face of the network.
You're right. We can't get them to address the files. Well, I'm sure there are a lot more files that we can go to the dark web. Look at how much that shit gets sold, like snuff videos, the freaking the PDF shit all over the dark web. It's not hard. I'm sure the FBI has loads of this stuff. So,
yeah. I remember something a few years ago. They actually arrested a couple FBI people, and I think they were just released or whatever. Or maybe they were like patsies, but there was an insane amount of that stuff on their computers, on their work computers.
Well,
and it's like Project Paperclip. They just hire the worst of the worst who's really good at being bad.
Yep. Well, I mean, and then you look at the Squatty Potty, the guy behind that, and he just got busted with tons of CP on his computer and buying it, and you know, paying for different films to be, kids to be raped live on video cam for him. It's like, it's everywhere. I mean, I just, yeah. You remember that video that came out in the 80s and it was like a LA port, and they found a shipping container that didn't get paid for, and then they opened it
Mm-hmm.
up and it was just loaded with
Yep.
dead bodies. Like, okay, what happened? Where you can't trace where that came from?
Oh
I
yeah. This isn't about pedophiles. This is about adrenochrome and
Mhm.
harvesting children. That's the interesting part. And I can't remember who said it, but I think it was on Joe Rogan's podcast. But he said, yeah, it was. He said that he thinks that everything that's going on is connected to Epstein, and that's why I think the whole COVID situation happened. I think that after Trump's 2017 executive order on these trafficking rings went into effect, they busted that guy. They busted a whole ton of people, and it brought the supply chain low. The interesting part about Epstein is he knew everyone. Doesn't matter who it was, right? High bankers, uh, other billionaires, every
Princes.
celebrity, yeah, everyone.
Mhm.
They knew everyone that you could see on TV. He knew them, and they like he was very well respected and had their personal cell phone numbers, and they're doing what he says.
Yeah.
He sounds like a drug dealer, and it's not because these people are sitting around weirdos, wanting to touch kids. It's a harvesting thing. And
Yeah.
after he got brought down, his whole system got brought down, and all of a sudden COVID happened, and then Biden was forced in, and the borders were opened right up, and what 700, 800,000 kids went missing. They're still trying to find them.
Hmm.
That's the important part, is you got different levels of this, and you're seeing people live, figuring it out through comments on videos and stuff, and everyone's 100% right all the time. I have to
Well,
keep telling them they're fighting each other
yeah.
themselves.
Well, and you look into the files or you just hear people break them down. The rape side of it is just scratching the surface. It's like satanic ritual and cannibalism. And
Mm-hmm.
what it really reminds me of is The Promised Neverland. Because the deeper you go into that series, it's a manga series. I know you've read a little bit of it,
Mm-hmm.
but for those who don't know, The Promised Neverland is an anime and a manga. Definitely read the manga rather than watch the anime. But um, they talk about how this demon, there was an agreement made before, because it was human beings fighting the demons were snatching humans and they were eating them, and by eating consuming the human flesh, it would give them form, and then the intelligence level of the person they'd consume would then help them grow in their intelligence. And so there was an agreement that eventually was made between the humans and the demons, where we stop fighting. We will seed you a initial batch of humans. We will create a treaty and go our separate ways and not mess with each other anymore. And so the demons got their food source, and they built this entire network of farms that were like orphanages to the kids. They think they're orphans, but yeah, they were farming children. And then it's really interesting, like the connection to how our own schools are run, because in the orphanages they do study, and then they have semester testing, and then their testing ranks the class of meat, and then like based off of age and based off of IQ level, they're harvested, and the best meat and intelligence level goes to like the top level demons, which are like the elite. And the story is about these children who are trying to escape this orphanage and this world. And it gets deep, man. But you think about like all the comparisons to like how we are tested in schools, and then you see all these movies where, oh, you tested way above, we're going to put you in an AP class, oh, we have a special school for people like you. And they just they kind of isolate these special kids and send them to special places. And part of me thinks, like, when you look at the Epstein files and you find out these people are eating people and they're using them for ritual, it's like, and then adrenochrome and getting high off of adrenalized blood. And it really makes you think, like, okay, first of all, it would take a demon to do these type of things to children, infants, all this kind of stuff. But what what is it about this? Like, it can't just be blackmail. Like, it can't just be sexual gratification. There has got to be something deeper than this.
Right.
And it really, you got to read this series if you guys have an audience. I'm speaking to you, because you will see so many parallels. And it gets like towards further in the story. I don't want to spoil too much, but they even have low grade farms, and so you discover this entire society of demons, and not all of them are like bad. They're just trying to survive, and it's like cattle farms. We have cattle farms, we have all sorts of meat sources, and we eat them to survive. We don't enjoy torturing animals and all this kind of stuff, but that is kind of the world that you discover within this story. Is there's low grade meat and there's high grade meat, and the high grade is reserved for the elite, but the low grade, some of them are just brain dead, like they're just hooked up, grown, and then consumed.
Mm.
And yeah, I highly recommend it. And it's not just this series. There is a lot of this injected into media. Um, there's different stories out there
It's like
where,
Monsters Inc., but the
yes,
smartest kids is who they want to scare the most.
yes, and it runs their world. It's their energy. So, anyways,
That's
there's
what
something
this
more to
is.
this.
That's what this is. This isn't. I mean, there's obviously a god and a devil, or whatever you want to call it. There's good and bad, and these people have obviously found a home right in the bad, and the new ones that are coming up, right? I mean, I'm sure it's a club, and certain people, there's different layers and pillars of it, and people off the street, who are able to do. It's kind of like getting jumped into a gang. We're able to help feed these people in this way, get brought up a little bit. And I don't know, maybe all of a sudden they're magically really good at dancing or singing, or their bank account gets filled. You know what I mean? It just, something is happening that is getting these people to believe in it because it's real to them. And that's the problem. And I just saw a video. I like this one. That the fallen angels, right? You keep seeing all these celebrities and how there's pictures of people that look just like them from hundreds of years ago, and that these celebrities are actually part of the fallen angels, which is a third of all the angels that had came down. And the angels in the Bible used to be referenced as stars, right? Well, you go to LA, that's the city of angels. Hollywood, Hollywood stars. The Hollywood is has to do with the like the magic wands. It was a holly tree that they used to make
Mhm.
it out of, so the magic there. And then yeah, stars, and they're idols and people worship them, and that's
Follow them,
exactly.
they influence us, and
Yeah,
yes.
and they
And we
do
used
they
to follow the stars. Sorry to interrupt you, but
yeah, no,
the
yeah,
ship,
yeah, go
yeah,
ahead.
go ahead. No, no, I'm sure you know what I'm saying, but the ships used to navigate based
Yep.
off of following the stars, and then a third
Mm-hmm.
of the stars came down, and now we are idolizing and influenced by, once again, the
Right.
stars.
What did the wise men follow to find Jesus?
Three stars, right? Yep.
Right.
Or
Yeah.
was it, no, it was one star, three wise men, one star, the one bright
Yeah.
star. Yeah.
And yeah, it's crazy when you look at it like that, and it makes sense. I mean, it's like, is it far out there? There's so many points to it, but it's very interesting because even if that's not true, you can see how obviously it's a ritualistic, like, propaganda right there. Like, that is what they are doing. That's why they call them stars.
Yeah.
That's why it's based in, Hollywood. I
So
mean, it's
many
nuts.
parallels. Your famous line is coincidence, coincidence, coincidence.
Yeah.
Three coincidence. No, it cannot be coincidences. At a certain point, you have to accept that there is truth to this. I mean, look at American Horror Story. They did a whole season on, or maybe it was just an episode, but I remember a specific episode where there was vampires, and they were like drinking blood, and once you do, you have the germ, you're infected, you have to continue to consume, but that blood, once you consume it, it like gives you the ultimate inspiration. And so like musicians become these amazing musicians, writers
Hmm.
become totally inspired, they write these amazing works as quick as possible. And then what happens is, if you stop drinking the blood, all of a sudden you come down, you feel like shit, all of a sudden you stop performing as well, and so you almost have to continue feeding into it. Plus you go through extreme withdrawals. And that's another thing we don't really even talk about. Okay, you're doing adrenochrome. It's a drug. It supposedly is the wonder drug. What's the come down like? You know, it's like you cut these people off. Remember when Celine Dion came out? She looked like skin and bones. Johnny Depp looked like he was a freaking crackhead all of a
Ellen
sudden.
DeGenerate.
Yeah, they all just like went
I
overnight. And
remember her
now,
specifically about
yeah,
live streaming from her, giant multi-million dollar mansion, just freaking out, dude, because
and
she
that
had to
was
be locked in there for 2 weeks.
and that was right around the time that Trump started busting all the freaking pedophile rings and COVID all of
Right
a sudden
after.
sprung up. Yep. All of a
Right
sudden,
after.
all these people are aging overnight, looking horrific. Look at P.
Hmm.
Diddy. You know, there's that guy who came out and said I was his like blood boy or whatever, and
Yeah. Yep.
kept him young. And then all of a sudden, P. Diddy goes to prison. He's got gray hair. He looks like shit. I know people can dye their hair, but
Hmm.
come on.
Or stop dyeing their hair.
Yeah.
MGK and Megan Fox, when they had
Yep.
their weird blood ritual wedding thing, they were like
Yeah.
putting each other's blood in vials and carrying it around.
Did
It's
you?
right in front of our faces.
That's right. Did you see the video of Lady Gaga that just came out, and she was like has like embedded horns in her, you know, like around her face. Maybe it was just a makeup thing, but her face is all deformed and like horned looking. And then she came out dressed as like a cherub, or I think it's cherub, or what is it, the Sephir, whatever. She looks
Yeah,
like
yeah,
one
yeah.
of those feathery angel demon things. And
Hmm.
then it shows her at one of her performances. She's like banging away on the drums, and there's a chick standing over her, freaking gagging herself and puking on Lady Gaga, and she's just like,
What?
yeah.
Yeah,
Did you
it's.
see that? Oh my god!
I haven't seen it, but I mean, all of her stuff is, is something like that. One thing I want to point out, because I trying to jog my memory here. I was just talking about it. So with the whole celebrities, the angels, fallen angels, and everything, right? What do all these people do in magazines, in front of you? Certain little hand signs. They do the triangle over one eye, right? Well, in the Bible, there's many depictions of certain kinds of angels looking like a giant eye or thousands of eyes together.
That's right.
Just another coincidence.
That's right.
The all-seeing eye.
Yep. The Eastern Star, the what was it? Lucifer, the morning star. You know.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And what they used to say was the millionaires don't believe in, is it astrology?
Mm-hmm.
But the billionaires do.
That's
Yeah,
right.
there's something they know. And I think it's the same stuff we know. There's just so many people out here these days that have been propagandized and or hurt from, the church. And I'm not a big fan of, the giant church. I think God is in you and in your home. I don't think you have to actually go around a bunch of strangers and to prove that.
No.
I think that's part of the system working against us. Yeah, a lot of people, oh, this happened to me when I was a child, and so I don't believe anymore. I refuse to believe, but they do. The people at the top that are doing all this, that are bombing Iran, that are making your housing market twice what it should be, ruining your dollar, opening the borders. Those people believe. So what do they know that you don't?
Well, and you always got to look at the date and the time when these major bombings and whatever exposure events take place, because it's always done on some kind of. We find out later, oh my God, look at the dots connected perfectly, and it landed on this specific day where we're honoring Moloch or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, yeah, there is definitely something to it because there's so many events that have a significance to them, you know, whether it, you know, with our world and the spiritual side, that it's not an accident. And I think there is a mass awakening that's happening right now for the better and for the worst. Because like when you and I both like first had our minds blown with the conspiracies and started going down the rabbit hole, it is a painful process of like filtering out truth from fiction and and just wrapping your mind around the fact that things aren't the way we see the way they seem. And I think nothing's brought me closer to Jesus than the world today. You
Absolutely.
see evil and good all around you, but there's a lot of people who are waking up right now who don't know up from down, and so they're
Mm-hmm.
believing fucking anything. And that's what this video
Mm-hmm.
was initially about. Is it true or is it not true? I don't know, but a
Right.
lot of people just believe it because their mind's blown.
Well, and you always follow your gut. I know that some people have it a lot stronger than others, but if you feel like it should be a certain way and you can't really put your finger on it, Something's telling you that. Your intuition is real. And I really wish that the majority of people would go back to that. Just when you know something and you're like, I don't know how I know it, and then you see it actually come to fruition, and you're like, what? Pay attention to that. That's something telling you something. And it's a lot of times it's real.
Yep. Use discernment, refine, your ability, and learn to trust your instincts, and try to silence all the noise, because there's so much input coming
Mm-hmm.
into us these days with the phones and the media and all the stuff and
Yeah.
friends. Everyone's talking about it. But yeah, just start to refine your instincts and learn to really pay attention to that, because it's not going to let you down.
Yep. And if you can't shut off the news, or you can't shut off the phone or the computer or anything, switch. I was thinking about it earlier. I was like, I wish I had another phone that was fine tuned to what the left is saying. To go through both. Look at the alternative medias that's against your regular opinion, and read both, and then just read between the lines and what makes sense to you. And you'll find the truth in there. They have to tell you it. It's part of their ritual.
Yeah.
They're just going to ha about it. So it seems like, oh, you should feel this way. And yeah, trust your instinct.
Yeah, it's a tough way. It's a tough thing to go through, because so many times in my life I've been like, "Oh crap, I'm in this situation I should have never been in because I should have listened to my gut." And I've gotten a lot better with that over the years. I
Mm-hmm.
remember when 2012 first rolled around. It was like before 2012, but we're talking about the prophecy of Nostradamus and how the
Mm-hmm.
world's going to end. But if you read into like what that prophecy was really saying, it was saying the world as we know it is going to end, and there was going to be a mass awakening, a great awakening that took place. If you look at the world of today, it hardly resembles the world of 2012 or before.
Mm-hmm.
And there has been a mass awakening, and there's this mass reset that's also being talked about. And so a lot of things with that prophecy actually came true. There were natural disasters that took place, and to the people who died, the world ended for them. But I think it was more about the world as we knew it was going to end. Um, and
It
so, yeah,
did.
it did.
It sure shit did. We had a billionaire TV host, celebrity guy become the president, who took down a pedophile ring, and then we were locked down from a virus that didn't hurt anybody very much,
Yeah.
or whatever. And now we're seeing it all invert again.
Yep, the
Very
medical
interesting.
industry changed. We're now talking about. Imagine in 2012 if we were to go back in time and say, "Hey, come 2025, 26, they're going to be arguing about whether we can cut kids' genitals off, and without parental consent. The school
Yeah.
will do it without the. And if you don't agree with it, they're going to take your kids away." It's like,
Yeah.
what?
Well, it was during Biden administration. It was 90 something, 80 or 90 something vaccines that a child got between like the age of birth and one.
Mm,
And before everyone started screaming about that, there's multiple shots inside of the shot. So, and then you get rounds 1, 2, 3, and 4 of them. It's been
yeah.
dropped down quite a bit, but yeah, lots of them.
What's crazy is I have a friend, and her daughter is about to be graduating high school. She's got
Mm.
all the grades to pass. She's participated in sports, all these different things. And she just got a letter, actually got multiple letters in the mail from the school saying, "Your daughter is not caught up on her vaccines. She needs to get the HPV vaccine. Otherwise, we're going to be forced to not let her graduate."
That's the
Not
one that
because of
gives them
her.
cervical cancer.
Yes, yes.
Yep.
And can you freaking believe that? And the worst part is, her son had an extreme allergic reaction to the HPV vaccine, which
Mm.
is why from then forward she said no. And she tried to use that to the school. The school said, "Too bad if you don't." And then she did, she got the final notice. "This is our last notice, final attempt at trying to get you to get your daughter caught up on her vaccine schedule, or she'll be forced to not graduate." Not because of her grades. They let her
Mm.
play sports. She was able to do the sport thing with just getting a physical. But what kind of upside down bullshit is that?
Yeah.
Not going to let her graduate? Like,
Which that's like sexually transmitted. And doesn't like everyone have that?
HPV.
Yeah, so it'd be, I mean, some form of it. It's like the I think it's like the herpes virus, but like cold sore, like everyone's came into contact with it pretty much, like everyone has it, but
Mm.
it's, and it would only be for her benefit.
Yeah, I mean,
I'm pretty sure it would. Yeah.
the thing about vaccines that I will always use as an argument, and I can't freaking stand how stupid people are, is okay, you want to get vaccinated, get vaccinated. If it protects you the way you say it does, then you got
Hmm.
nothing to freaking worry about. Why are
Yeah.
you so concerned about whether my kid, to the point where you're not going to let her graduate? And again, she's got the grades, she's been a productive member, she's not late or tardy or disobedient.
Yep.
It's because that she won't get the shot that you say protects everybody. And she's a threat to the rest of the world. Like, why? If everyone's got the fucking shot, who wants it? What are you scared
Right.
of? It's like the COVID
Yeah.
shot.
Let me see. I saw this today. I keep sending it to all this stuff to my little brother because he doesn't have a kid yet. And I really am going to pound it into his brain, and for the day he does. But it's from Nicholas Holscher. Says our peer-reviewed reanalysis of the largest vaccinated versus unvaccinated birth cohort study in history shows vaccinated children are far sicker across all 22 chronic diseases. So you got autoimmune disease, cancer, autism, neurodevelopment disorders, asthma, speech disorders, motor disability, atopic disease, seizure disorder, food allergy, neurological disorder, any chronic condition. But here's the ones that were only found in vaccinated children. There was 0 cases from their study in the unvaccinated. Only the vaccinated had ADHD, diabetes, brain dysfunction, behavioral disabilities, learning disabilities, intellectual disabilities, tics, and other psychological disabilities. So, bottom line, 22 out of the 22 chronic disease categories were worse on the vaccinated children. It says 0 exceptions. Absolutely insane. So, there's the data there, and I'm a firm believer in it.
I am too.
But anything else? Anything else you got for the people, Nathan?
At this point, I think we've covered it. Anything that I can come up off the top of my head.
Gotcha. Hell yeah, brother. Thanks for coming. All right. For everyone that's been here live, thank you very much. Make sure to leave a comment, like it up, subscribe if you haven't, and we'll catch you on the next one.